Hello everybody, welcome. Please let Hetty know if you can hear her. She's going to speak now.
Welcome, everybody. There's no snow tonight. They promised there would be, but I didn't listen to them. And there's no snow yet.
And people are coming on. Thank you so much. Let us know if you can hear her.
Tell us when you can hear.
And sometimes, okay, Lauren is here. Yes, I see hearts, and I see a thumbs up. We're good.
We're on.
Mom, you're on.
Okay. I've been bombarded with questions about my hand, so I'm going to tell you all the details, okay? But we have so much else to talk about. Let me begin by saying nothing is broken. The skin was badly scraped and bleeding a lot. And until they took the x-rays, we didn't know that nothing is broken. The skin was peeled. And the skin will come back. And I'm covered like this, not because of the skin, but because I need to paint and do things with this hand. So I'm not going to paint today, but I will draw with charcoal. Okay? I'll tell you all these things. Let me tell you more. When I ended up, first of all, my friend Gary from upstairs immediately bandaged me perfectly. And then said, we really should get x-rays. So another friend, Sammy, drove me to the hospital, and they x-rayed it, and they checked it, and they said they bandaged it up and sent me home. But I didn't believe anything until when the nurses came to check the bandage. I found out today, when I also found out after a few days, because in between was President's Day, and I do want to say something important. I had people helping me, especially a relative, Lorraine, who's a nurse, who drove me to the hospital to get the bandage, because it happened the day before President's Day. They fixed it and they said, go to the wound center the moment you can. Well, that was the next day. The wound center was closed. It was President's Day. There should be something. If we have snow plows coming to save traffic, there should be a special service for people in need of medical care on a President's Day. And it's something to think about.
Mom, can I just read you some comments
Yes.
before you continue?
I love when you read comments.
Sure. So, most special of all is to read this comment.
But louder.
Most special of all is to read this comment. It's from Rhonda Soto. Hello, Hetty. I'm here with my mom, Franny, who was Linda Zweren's partner for 34 years, and we are honored to be here. So, Franny's daughters are here listening, so I just wanted to share that right away. And Eileen Cutler says, I'm glad the hand is healing. Welcome back, Kenela. Hi, Ken. Hi, Hetty. Hugs from California. That's from John Terracuso. Jean Geller said hello. Finally made it. Sorry to see you had an accident. And Jill Heinzman says good evening. And Marilu says hola. And Janine says hi, Hetty. Hi, family. And Eileen says hello. Good sound. No snow yet. Lauren Raff is watching. But I just didn't want to wait before telling you
Right.
that Franny's daughters are listening now.
I want to speak, but somehow to make it the most important part about tonight. About my hand, I was answering all the questions. But
yes, and there's more that you're going to tell and show about your
yes,
too.
but first, I'd like to speak about, I can't pronounce her the way other people pronounce her, because it's a German word. Linda Zwirn, but in my English from Austria, it's Zwirn, which means thread. And so I never was able to tell people what her name was, because they called it how did you call it, the name? Zwirn or something.
Oh, yes, I didn't pronounce it right.
Right.
Yes.
And
the way I just said it now, Zwirn, yeah.
Yeah, Zwirn. And I want to speak about her, and it's very emotional, and I would like to talk about other things next week, and I would like to speak about this amazing, wonderful friend of mine who's no more on the same territory, spiritual. She passed away. Hernan is here. Hernan, who is a mutual friend of ours, once said to her, "You really should meet each other. Why don't you walk over?" She lives just a few steps away, from a few blocks away. And Linda appeared. And that strange thing when people know that they could talk about anything and the other one would understand, happened between us. When she first came, I wanted to draw old people. I had made up my mind I was going to take my pencil and do a series of drawings to show the amazing thing of who old people can become. And here this strong, athletic, slim, muscular woman came in, and I said, "I can't draw you. You're not what I need to do." And she said, "Why?" And I said, "'Cause you don't look old." Linda was an athlete. When girls were called tomboy, it upset her so much because she was an athlete. And played golf and had the body of an athlete. When I put her in, I needed color because Dory has red and red. I needed to bring color. So I put a blanket on her. I put a blanket on her legs, which was green and red striped. And as I got to know her, I realized she would never sit with a blanket. If it's cold, she would be cold. But she wouldn't hide from the weather. Anyway, I created an unreal man here in order to paint her in this picture. And we both looked at it, and I said, "It doesn't feel right, does it?" And she said, "No." So I said, "What would feel right?" She says, "Give me a tennis racket." And she brought the tennis racket the next day, and we put the tennis racket there. She's not finished yet. None of the people in here are finished. But she has this wonderful head of white hair. And I needed that. So I gave her a white shirt because she easily fit into a white shirt. And I said, about the drawing her, I said, okay, then let me just do you. When you get old, if we're around, I'll do you again. But let me do you. You're here. Even though she wasn't what I would wanted to draw that day. I wanted somebody old and wrinkled. And she said, do me the way you see me. And I said, no, I want to do it the way you see yourself, because you're going to get the picture. And she said, I don't know how I see myself. And we started to talk. See, with Linda, you didn't have a topic to use as a surface. You needed to go in. I loved her so for that. She was the one who said to me first, why did you paint so much of the Lower East Side? You painted in so many other places. Why is it that you couldn't leave the Lower East Side? And she made me think. I didn't get that answer until I saw John Taracuso, who was doing a film of me. He did exactly the same. He skipped most of the other things, but zeroed in on the Lower East Side. But she was the first person who made me question why I do what I do. And when that was what our conversations always were. We would take a topic and try to understand it together. That kind of a friendship is very rare. Linda, I love you so much. She passed away this week. And I'm so glad that I have her in the painting so that I can see her every day. Someday it'll be finished when the painting is done. Another topic that we spoke about so much. Oh, I should tell.
Yeah.
It's getting late, right?
Well, not too late, no? Yeah,
Okay. Let me tell you, because I promised people that I would explain what I'm doing. When I found out that my hand had the skin scraped off and that I couldn't paint. Now, I have been living for painting. Oh, to get back to Linda, she and I used to go and watch birds together. There's a pond, and we called it our pond, and watched birds, ducks, and when I began this painting, I didn't realize how much time I would need for this. And I began to get very frustrated because I couldn't create enough time to paint. And I said to her, Linda, I can't go anywhere with you anymore, not until I've done more work. Come visit me, but you and I can't go anywhere. I have to be home. And she said, I don't understand why you're giving up other things, but I can understand that you have this deep need to just paint. So I'll come to you instead. And that's who she was. And so we were together. When she came to me, I couldn't go with her. That's another gift that she gave me. when I found out that this was a bloody mess, and I knew I would be okay, and I knew that it's possible. First of all, television has saved me. There was a movie of a little boy who was born with no arms, but he wanted to become an archer. And the film on television showed him bow and arrow on his feet, with his feet, shooting the bow. And I thought to myself, then nature has made us so that we are multiple billions of levers, of things in us that can be manipulated in order for us to become what we want to be. And I looked at my left hand, which is so weak and useless, and I said, you're going to have to take over. And that day, sitting in the hospital, waiting for them to finish with me, I began. First, I wrote the name Pagramanski. Hetty Page is easy, but Pagramanski is murder. So, and I wrote underneath, Hetty Pagramanski, let me train my left hand. Kenny will show you. Okay, and then if you can show,
lots of hearts.
Can you show them
Mm-hmm.
the writing underneath here and read it? Because I did it so badly. Let them know it's not easy.
Let me train my left hand.
And then I thought, wait a minute. I don't need to be a writer. I need to keep drawing. And here are my first attempts at the people in the waiting room. Okay, and then I found out.
You're getting these oh my gosh symbols.
Okay, and then I decided, after all, I can do better than that. And this is somebody in the waiting room.
With your left hand.
With the left hand. And today the nurse came and she took off the old bandages and she cleaned it and she said, it's okay. You're supposed to move your fingers anyway. Go ahead, draw. And not only can I draw, but I can write. And I can even write Hetty Pagramanski with all the A's and the movings. What I'd like to tell you now is to bring you back to the painting.
Should I read you comments first?
Yes.
Okay.
You can read comments anytime. I love that.
Jean Geller said, hello, finally made it. Sorry to see you had an accident. And Rona is watching. And Marilu is watching and sending you a beautiful drawing of someone with hearts, a woman with hearts. And Phyllis Cooper is here, and she says, and I know Linda too, for 51 years. Carol Hodkin is watching, and Paula Lakshan is watching. And Paula says, good evening, Hetty and Kenny. We've missed you and are so happy to join you tonight. Phyllis Cooper says, thank you for this. And Carol Hodkin says, Linda will be missed very much. We who live in her building are still in shock. Kathy Olson is here, and she says, so good to be back with you, Hetty dear. Miss you so much. And our Johanna is here too. Rona says, thank you for speaking about Linda. She loved you so much, and your wisdom was always so appreciated. Love you too, Rona. And Janine says, I am so sorry. And Marilu says, so sorry, rest in peace. And Rhonda Soto, Franny's daughter, is sending you a heart. And Johanna says, Hetty, Linda loved you so much. And Rona says, hi Fran and Rhonda, so glad that you are on too. And Phyllis says, thank you for this. And Mitch is here. Mitch says, hello from Mitch. And Marilu says, wow, with your with what you wrote, where you were doing text and then the evolution of your sketching. And Phyllis says, amazing. And Dory says, Matt Stutzman, armless archer. She can't post links because Facebook won't allow it, but she's just sharing with everybody what the name of this person is so they can look it up. And Eileen says, amazing, drawing with your left hand. Us left-handed people welcome and bow to you. And Lauren says, I can't do that with my right hand. And Jean Geller says, so amazing, you are so talented. And Carol Hodkin says, terrific, you are so talented and determined. And Jill Heinzman says, remarkable.
One Monday night, I would like to explain the word talent to you. I don't think we have time tonight, right?
We have 7 minutes.
Then let me talk about talent. We all have talents. If we're not allowed to pursue them, we will break through the barriers and show them in a different way. But most of us, if we're not approved of, don't use them. That's why it keeps coming back to me. Hedy Lamarr was so beautiful. Nobody knew that she invented machinery which helped us to win the war. That the internet, I read, is partially responsible for her inventions. Where did she get the courage to break through her beauty and become what was frowned upon, a woman being a scientist? I lucked out. I was always allowed to draw. I was encouraged to draw. All children draw. All children draw. If you give them a crayon or a pencil, they will use it. Very few of them have. The woman I'm going to be painting here, my teacher from Vienna, I don't know exactly where I'll put her yet because the photograph I have of her is not very good. And above all, my family, which said, let her draw. Hetty, you don't have to do the dishes right now. You're drawing. Finish your drawing. And my older brother, Richie, who made it possible for me to always have time to draw. Let your children follow the dream. They may not know what the dream is yet, but encourage them, because all of us have some things that we are driven to do. Find a safe way for them to do it, but encourage them. And like Eric said, when Joni said, Mom wants to sit on the street and draw and paint a street, and he said, do it. Do anything you want to do as long as you don't hurt anybody. Because you never know when you have a chance to do it. Well, right now, I have no chance to do it, but I'll be back. Thank you. Any comments?
Yes. Julie is here. Julie is watching. Tracy Hepner is watching. And Muddy Lou just said, I just tried to write with my left hand. I can't read it. Oh.
Neither can I, but I will have to. But no, I may not have
You
to,
won't have
because this hand is going to be useful again. I have another challenge. My wonderful friend Dina asked if he could have a blue jacket back, because she loves blue jackets, and it's the one she always wears, which means Jeff is going to have to get his jacket changed. Because I can't have blue, blue, blue. But I won't make him green, because that's competition here. So you see, life is not that simple. But in this painting, it is simple. And that's why Linda no longer has a blanket with red in it. Instead, she's going to have her dungarees visible. And do you know the physical therapy person who came to me today from the hospital said, what is your incentive? Because you're still exercising. And I said, my incentive? Come over here. I have to finish this. It'll take at least a year. Until it's perfect. And what I would like to do is, I would like to, as I spoke of Linda today, I'm going to speak of individuals every time, because people do not know how to speak of themselves. I've asked them, because Eric said, make sure before you put anybody into the painting that they give you a story of how they see themselves. And they don't know how. And I didn't either. I could not be interviewed correctly until Taracuso. John Taracuso took all my Facebooks and studied them. And I call him up and I'll say, John, did I talk about this before? Because I want to talk about it today. And he'd say, yes, you did. Taram, taram, taram. Or no, you didn't. Or if you don't do this, you could do it that way. And I said, how do you know? He says, I live with them. And that movie is so excellent. I can't wait for the day when he lets me show it.
And last comment. Julie Williams says, love you guys. Lots of hearts coming by. Julie Williams says, love you guys. Tuned in late, but we'll watch the full recording later. Jean Geller says, you sound so much like my mom. Rest her soul. Anna Bilgray Brand. And Lauren Roth said, are you in any of your own paintings?
I'm going to be here, but I won't show my face. I'm with my friend Zenaida, who used to be my art student. Goodbye, all of you. Thank you for being mine. You are the audience I missed in the street who asked me questions. I love you all. Oh, and by the way, now when I'm able to sketch with this hand, I'm retiring this one.
Lauren says she's happy to hear that you're in that painting. And Phyllis says, thank you and great painting. And Carol Hodgkin sends hearts.
Good night.